So you are carving your desires out of the environment that you live in. But you could carve your life out of the environment that you live in more effectively if you were to understand a few basic things. We're going to give them to you here briefly. They are concepts that are law-based, and as you understand them and affirm them, as you believe them, better still, as you know them, as you walk through your day-to-day experience with them on your mind, you will gain control of your own experience. And otherwise, you're living life by default. You're observing and offering a vibration and getting all kinds of stuff back in response to all kinds of stuff that you're outputting, and usually then trying to explain how you got to where you are or why things are happening by blaming yourself or blaming others. Some even go so far as to blame their mothers or their partners or even past life experiences. In other words, you're sort of desperate to explain why what is, and we're going to explain to you why what is. And once you understand why what is, then you'll have more control over what is. It's really a nice thing. It's co-creation at its best. So here you are in these bodies, that's obvious, but while you're in this body, there is a larger part of you that is non-physically focused. Humans refer to that as your soul. We like to call it your source, your inner being. Some refer to that as God, although they have a hard time referring to part of them as God because most have separated themselves from what they believe that is. But you are an extension of that source energy, and the larger part of that which you are is not here in your physical body with you, in your personality with you, but is a consciousness who is aware of you and participating with you. Now that matters because that understanding of those two important vibrational aspects of you explains why your guidance system works the way that it does. So here's what happened and is what is happening. You were source energy and consciously decided to participate in this body, in this personality, at this time, and so into this physical body you were born. As you came into this physical body, at first there was no vibrational separation between the source from which you had come and you in this body, because you had not picked up enough on your physical trail to cause any resistance within your vibration. But as you spend more time here and you look at what is wanted and unwanted and you listen to others around you, you begin to develop opinions and attitudes and beliefs. Beliefs are just thoughts that you continue to think. You began to create a vibrational attitude that became, in many cases, in fact in most cases, contradictory is a strong word, contrary is a less strong word, resistant to is a less strong word, the vibration of your source. In very simple terms, your source always knows your value. And when you convince yourself or somebody else convinces you that your value is less, then you introduce resistance into the equation of you and you. And that's what your emotions are. Source is always loving you and loving those you are focused upon. But when you find reason to not love them by virtue of the conditions that they are exhibiting, as you stand in your vulnerability, pushing against their conditions because you believe, and most humans are in this category, that the conditions that others are living could threaten you, then you cause, separation is too strong a word, but you introduce resistance into the equation between you and you. So that, in very brief terms, is what your emotional guidance system is all about. It's about the difference in opinion of the source within you and your opinion right here in this moment. Now, what happens to most of you, because early on, as you're interacting with those around you, they have, in most cases, developed pretty strong opinions of their own. And they believe that it is in your best interest that you understand the opinions that they are offering. So at first, you don't have a really hard time because there is somewhat of consistency around you. But the longer you spend in this physical body and the more you are introduced to the other components of this time-space reality, the more you realize that there is really a variety of opinions about just about everything. And so you have a hard time using what surrounds you, your mother, your father, your teachers, your peers, the influences that are coming to you. It's a difficult thing to be human and sort out the rightness and the wrongness in the way that they want you to. We want you to understand that through all of that, you have source within you, not just apart from you, but within you, not just somewhere, with you, focused with you in every moment of every conversation and every idea. Everything that you are about, your inner being is right there with you. Law of attraction is the manager of vibration. And since you live in a world, you live in a universe that is only about vibration, then law of attraction is central to what is going on in this vibrational universe, and your understanding of it is central to your deliberate creation, to your deliberate evolution, to your deliberate living life happily ever after in this physical time-space reality. So what law of attraction says is that which is likened to itself is drawn. There's a vibrational equivalency. It's like when you tune something with your radio dial. So that's the way everything in this universe is working. So your source is broadcasting a signal, and you have the opportunity of tuning to that or not. When you tune to it, you feel wonderful. That's when you are at your clearest, or your most fun, or your most joyful, or your most vital. That's when you are energized. That's when you are full of you. But when you don't tune your tuner to who you really are, when your signal is off, that's when you are introducing resistance or static to the equation. That's when you feel less good. That's when negative emotion is present. You're sort of getting a sense of this? Now, this is why it is that way. Because law of attraction is responding to the vibration that is being offered across the board. Everything is vibrating, and law of attraction is responding to everything that is vibrating and matching up those signals. So you get what you think about, whether you want it or not, because when you're thinking about it, you're offering the signal. So law of attraction is matching all of that up. But this is the important part. We're just going to take just a very brief period of time here to help you to understand why you have emotional guidance, why it exists within you, and why it matters so much. So this you that we've been talking about, this eternal you, is a powerful point of attraction. And here you are in your physical body, exploring, knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want, launching rockets of clarity from your point of view, preferences, personal, important to you preferences of what you prefer. When someone's rude, you want them to be nicer. When you don't have enough of something you feel that you need, you want more of it. And so each time, whether you speak words about it or not, you have an experience that helps you to clarify. You launch these vibrational emanations, these rockets of desires exude from you, and your inner being, who is standing in your vibrational universe, receives the new request, integrates it immediately into the whole that your inner being is, and becomes that point of attraction. Now here's the important part. Law of attraction then responds to that newly expanded, newly amended point of attraction. Does that make sense to you? The question is, where are you in relationship to that? In other words, someone was mean to you and you launched a rocket of desire to feel better, and your inner being received that and stands there in that much better feeling place as a result of what you've lived. But where are you standing in relationship to that expansion? Usually over here complaining about what happened. Usually over here defending your position and why you feel bad about something. So you are separating yourself, usually not deliberately, usually unconsciously, usually because of lack of focus or lack of discipline, or mostly, we'll just say it to you, lack of really wanting to feel good. Because if you really wanted to feel good, you would by now have trained yourself into finding the thoughts that do feel good. You've got to admit, hatred does not feel good. And yet you accept it as part of life experience because you believe that conditions have to change before your hatred can go away. Fear does not feel good, but you don't let go of it because you believe that that thing that is making you believe that you are afraid, or that thing that is causing the moment of fear, has to change before your fear can subside. And that's what we're wanting you to understand here today. That's living life conditionally. That's needing to control conditions you can't control in order to adjust your vibration to something that feels good. And there is a much easier way of going about it. Not only is it easier, and not only will it keep you in a place of feeling better, but it is essential to being the maintainer. It is essential to being the achiever and then the maintainer of your deliberate vibrational offering. And that's what deliberate creation is. Deliberate creation is understanding the law of attraction and understanding your guidance system and understanding your own emotions and then doing something about it when you feel emotion. Now, what we would do if we were standing in your physical shoes, what we would do about negative emotion is we would find the path of least resistance into feeling better. We would talk ourselves into feeling better. We would focus ourselves into feeling better. And often humans say, oh, no. Esther would say, Abraham, clearly you have a different opinion about this than I do, because I feel rotten. And I believe you. I believe that the reason I feel rotten is because I have varied from what I really know about this. But Abraham, I think you need more information. Because surely if you knew what I know, you wouldn't still feel the way you feel. And we say, we would, because that is our determination. That is our decision. Because we understand the laws of the universe. We understand that like attracts like. And we stand in that non-resistant place as your guidance to assist you in finding alignment with all that you want. So it's such a wonderful thing. You've come with such reason and purpose. You came into this time-space reality, very clearly came forth in order to create your own reality. That's what you wanted. That's what you said you would do, and that's what you knew you would do. And you knew that creating your own reality was really a sort of three-step process. You knew that the contrasts that surrounded you would cause you to focus. It would cause you to ask for what you want. You knew that. And you also knew, when you made the decision to come forth, that when you ask, that the source within you would hold the vibrational frequency of what you're asking for. You knew that. You knew that when you ask, that you would be backed up by all that you are. You knew that when you ask, that the source within you would hold your idea, your expansion steady. You knew that when you ask, it would be given. You knew that when you ask, it would be given exactly. We wrote a whole book about that. You knew that when you ask, it would be given. That's step 2. You also knew that once you ask, and life causes you to do it all day, every day, and once source gives or becomes is a better way, ask and source becomes the very that you are asking for. You knew then that your next step must be to find a way of being in the receptive mode of what you're asking for. You knew that you can't want something and doubt it, that you can't want something and not believe it. You knew that you can't want it and criticize the absence of it. You knew that you couldn't want it and notice mostly that it isn't there. You knew when you came into this physical body that you would have to be, if you were to be the deliberate creator of your experience, which is why you came forth, you knew that you would have to be one who lives unconditionally for this reason. Everything that you create is a vibrational reality for a while before it becomes a condition or a thing or a state of being. Jerry wanted to write a book, talked about it a lot, and he wanted to call it Turning Thoughts to Things. How is it that the vibrational nature of that which is you becomes the tangible, see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it version? And the way that that happens is because that is the leading edge. That is the momentous expansion. That is the natural evolution. That is the ultimate progress. That is the reason that we are all focused here. Because you are supposed to turn your thoughts to things. You are supposed to let the vibrational nature that is you demonstrate itself in the fullest fashion. You have come forth to deliberately create joyful, abundant, delicious experience, you see. But you can't create something that is new and more delicious if you're looking at something that is present and not so delicious. Because whatever has your attention has got your vibration. And whatever has caused your vibration to emanate is controlling the point of attraction that's coming back. So that's why we're talking about being unconditional in your point of attraction, caring less about what is and more about how you feel.